Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for that kind and wonderful introduction. It is a pleasure to be with all of you virtually at this groundbreaking global conclave to share my thoughts on creating schools for the future. When my dear friends Tarun Basu and KPR Nair extended the invitation explaining the focus and purpose of this event, and who the primary participant would be, I accepted without hesitation. So thank you, Tarun and KPR, for your leadership and friendship and bringing all of us together. I'll also thank all of you who will be addressing this conference for allowing me to share the stage with you. It's truly humbling. As the title of my talk suggests, to maximize the potential for 21st century education, those schools for the future must be multifaceted. They must shape studies, shape students, and shape society. Those of you at this conclave will be central in developing those schools. You are what I call edupreneurs. As someone who considers himself an edupreneur, it is an honor to be with my fellow edupreneurs. So let me get back to my remarks. I will make my remarks in 5 parts. Part 1 will be the entrepreneur and the edupreneur. Part 2, the need for edupreneurship. Part 3, the roles and responsibilities of the edupreneur. Part 4 will be my edupreneur personal journey, and part 5 will be edupreneurship in the school for the future. Let me begin though with a thought starter. The thought starter is, what is a school? Most people probably think that a school is a building with a bunch of classrooms, but thinking about it a little more analytically, a school generally has the classrooms, a lunchroom, a gym, a playground, and a campus. In thinking about school for the future, the opportunity to take this thought process one step further, to think outside the box and to think inside the circles. Those circles include, but are not limited to, the students, the classmates, the teacher, the family, and the community. I'm certain that those of you who are already working in and revolutionizing colleges and schools and bringing new ideas to the education arena get the picture provided by that thought starter. It is that we need to reach the totality of the educational landscape in order to realize the full potential for the 21st century education. That said, let me turn to the first part of my presentation. So, what and who are entrepreneurs? From my perspective, entrepreneurs are dreamers who dare. They are seekers who seize the moment and take calculated risks to create the enterprise and jobs of the future. Edupreneurs are entrepreneurs of a social type, a special type, I would say. If you search the internet, there are a range of definitions for edupreneurs. The majority of them focus on developing educational programs or educational businesses to make money and doing things such as creating learning programs, educational technology, and educational software. In my opinion, those definitions are too narrow in scope. Here's a broader view and definition. The edupreneur is an entrepreneur who uses and applies her or his education and learning to develop innovative initiatives that are empowering and difference-making in anyone's life, field, discipline, or industry. The entrepreneurs can be educator, a person working at home, or a person starting an enterprise in science, technology, arts, humanities. The list could go on and on and on. I will draw my own experience later in my comments to provide an example of that. Let me move on to the second part of my speech. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the need for innovative educational approaches and taking the learning outside the classroom setting. And thankfully, there was a rapid response by the technological community, and many elementary school and students were able to engage in hybrid forms of education. Research in the United States found, however, that many students in elementary school fell anywhere from 6 months to 1 year behind in their performance on standardized tests in subjects such as math, science, and English. Most importantly, the research showed that students in many rural, minority, and socially economically disadvantaged did not have access to digital education and got no assistance. This puts a spotlight on the need for edupreneurship. It is essential for technological approaches be developed that replicate and or enhance the learning of students in traditional school settings. And there are tens of millions of disadvantaged students in countries around the world who need the commitment of you edupreneurs to develop products and approaches that will promote the educational development and opportunities for socio-economic advancement. This conclave understands this need because of the emphasis it has placed on equality and justice. This brings me to the roles and responsibilities of the edupreneur. Let me shift gears here and talk about higher education first. Too often, higher education institutions shape the study by developing curriculum which are instructor-driven rather than driven by what the marketplace needs or requires. Those students have been shaped from inside the classroom out rather than from outside the classroom in. Shape a student using an internally centered model emphasizing administrative concern and institutional growth rather than employing a student-centered model. And they neglect or fall short in assuming their responsibilities for shaping society. Those of you edupreneurs in this audience today already have and will continue to develop higher education approaches that stand in stark contrast to what I call exclusionary approaches of the past. You understand will work to develop courses and materials that shape studies in response to current job needs and the competency required for career success. Shape students using a customer-centered model, recognizing that students are the customers, and depending on what they want to achieve, be there have a learning purpose, an earning purpose, or a tuning purpose. Shape society by promoting positive civic engagement to make the workplace, the community, the nation, and the world a better place. You will do all of this by facilitating the development of the knowledge, skills, values, and disposition of the students, teachers, administrators, faculty, and staff. You will also contribute to the development of future edupreneurs. As I stated at the outset of my discussion and talk and remark, I consider myself an edupreneur. Let me explain why I feel that way. There has been a considerable amount of research that shows that those who do well or excel have developed not only the minimum technical knowledge or skills required in an area, they have also developed the character that is required to apply and use those skills to continue to learn in order to become the best that they can be and to work hard and persist in the face of difficult obstacles in order to achieve their goals. I went to Aligarh Muslim University in India. What's best in me, I owe it to AMU. Aligarh not only gave me a great education, it also helped shape those values, attitudes, and beliefs that were fundamental to who I was to become and what I was to achieve. Aligarh enabled and empowered me for my journey to become both an entrepreneur and edupreneur. Let me highlight a few things that are most relevant to its edupreneurial aspect. I went to the United States from India at the age of 15 to pursue the American dream. I crossed the Atlantic Ocean to achieve the American dream. I was able to achieve it in large part due to this solid foundation and values instilled and infused in me by AMU. I got my bachelor's and master's degree in computer science at the University of Colorado in Boulder, but in my heart of hearts, I always knew that I wanted to take my education to become an entrepreneur. There was no such term as edupreneur back in those days, but that is what I became. I left the academic world and worked in some information technology firms to get the experience that I needed to launch my own venture or my own company. Then in 1994, I purchased a company called Kiosis Group Incorporated in Washington, D.C. for $45,000. Within 13 years, along with my key management team, we took that from a workforce of 1 employee, that's me, to more than 3,000 employees and approximately $300 million in annual revenue. That was, I consider, an excellent trajectory. I had a role to play in their success. But let me say this, my team of talented managers was central to everything. So, success in business is a team sport. In 2007, I sold my company to Perot System. That allowed me to establish a private foundation that supports educational, culture, and artistic causes in the United States, India, and around the world. That was my journey. Now I am working diligently in the second phase of my edupreneurship, which is the philanthropic engagement. A central principle of that philanthropy is to give people a hand up so they can start and plot their own journey. So that is my edupreneurial journey in a nutshell. In this last part of my presentation, I want to talk briefly about your role in helping develop the edupreneurs of tomorrow and schools for the future. The key to doing that, in my opinion, as I said in the thought starter at the beginning of my comments, is to think outside of the box and to think inside of the circles. Find new and more effective ways of doing things and reaching others who have not been served in the past. A similar message to mine is communicated in the flyer announcing this global conclave, and the flyer states, the conclave will serve as a mutual learning experience to know what is happening in different parts of the world, of contemporary thinking and alternate pathways of learning, the transformative role of the existing institution and people involved therein. In my opinion, those transformative roles for scholars, for schools and colleges will be to shape studies, shape students, and shape society. And you edupreneurs here today are and will help determine the nature of those schools and colleges. In closing, let me give you an example which demonstrates that as an edupreneur, I practice what I preach. My wife Debbie and I have supported the development and building of a new management complex at Aligarh Muslim University. Their complex has an innovation and entrepreneurship center. At the dedication ceremony at the Frank and Debbie Islam Management Complex, I said, while the bricks and mortars are important, far more significant is who will be in, what we go on this setting. It will be a place for sharing of information and imparting and development of knowledge and skills. It will be a space where faculty and students can collaborate on innovative projects. It will be an educational empowerment zone. At this global conclave in Dubai, we have come together in an educational empowerment zone. We will hear what other entrepreneurs are doing, both in traditional institutions and new venture, to transform the learning experience and to promote equality and justice for all through education. I appreciate the time I've had to share my thoughts with you, my fellow edupreneurs. I look forward to listening and learning from the other edupreneurs at this most important conclave. Thank you for listening to me. Please keep up the good work. Good luck as you continue your noble and the transformative work. And God bless you all. Thank you very much.